I had just come out of a conversation with a learning and development manager. Very interesting conversation with an interesting person, quite a sharp lady, really. Capable, not at all political, and very serious about her role. She had identified gaps in her organization, real performance gaps, and believed that outside help would make a difference. She asked whether I'd be willing to meet with her CEO. Yeah, I agreed. So she went to request the meeting. And in doing so, she made one small mistake. She told him that she believed they should bring me in. His response to that was absolutely immediate. One day, when you own this business, you can make those decisions. Right now, leave those decisions to people who know how to make them. Well, that was the end of it. The door was closed, but she resigned that same morning. Not out of rebellion of any description, no, but because she realized something, and something vitally important, that she was being held responsible for development, capability, and performance without actually being trusted with the influence to get that right. I walked away from that meeting somewhat unsettled. I really wasn't happy because what I find is that organizations often say they want ownership from their staff, but what they really want is compliance with enthusiasm. So that afternoon, but later, I had lunch with my daughter at her restaurant. She owned it. She carried all the risk. She signed all the checks. Long hours, tight margins, real responsibility, real tangible responsibility. The place was busy. It was that sort of comfortable hum of people and the clattering of plates and conversations and coffee machines, typical of a popular restaurant. One of her managers walked over, leaned in slightly and asked, can I approve this? It wasn't a big decision, not a crisis of any description, just something that needed a management call. My daughter answered. The manager nodded and went back to the floor. As soon as she walked away, my daughter sighed. She looked at me. Dad, why can't she just make the decision herself? She always comes to me. There was frustration in her voice, deep, deep frustration, not anger, more fatigue than anything else, I suppose. And I remember saying to her very, very calmly, I said, my darling, if she had the capability to make those decisions consistently, and to carry the full risk of them, she would be the owner of this restaurant. My daughter looked at me, not defensive, just thinking, because what she'd been interpreting as weakness was actually structure. The manager wasn't the owner. My daughter was the owner. This manager didn't carry any of the financial exposure or the financial pressure. She didn't carry any of the long-term consequences. There was nothing there. She didn't have the sleepless nights worrying about how people are going to get paid or anything. There was nothing. So of course she came to my daughter to check. That moment shifted something in my daughter. Instead of resenting the interruption, she began to see it a whole lot differently. Every question became a coaching opportunity, literally a coaching opportunity. Instead of, why are you asking me? She changed it. And it became, talk me through your thinking. Far more healthy way. She didn't hand over ownership overnight. No, that she didn't do, but she started developing capability inside the boundaries of reality. Inside those boundaries of reality. And that's the difference. That's where the difference comes in. In organizations, we often expect owner-level judgment from people who are not owners, not in authority, not in exposure, not in decision rights. Then we get irritated when they escalate. When they don't have the things to have ownership with, we get mad when they escalate. So that's not a motivation problem. That becomes a structure problem. If you want ownership behavior from people, you need to define what it is that they truly own. You need to give them the decision rights inside that space. You need to make the boundaries clear, and you need to accept that capability develops over time. Because here's the truth. You cannot demand ownership level decisions from people who do not carry ownership level authority. That's not empowerment. It's pressure without power. And pressure without power does not create initiative. It creates dependence. See you in the next video.